Yeah, that's what it was.
I'm done. It's crooked, just.
Which way?
Just
Is that better?
Yeah.
That's so much, yeah.
Okay, we're back on the air.
Back on it. We had a live call.
Commercial that call was.
We had a call in actually. Somebody wanted to call in.
Call in
My
to the
first
show.
We are still having to be quiet.
Okay, so anyway, just to recap where we were at. Well, not to recap, but to pick it back up. Daniel at the end was talking about kind of these other ways that topic can branch out, and he's like, I mean, I forget the specifics, but I was like, oh, there's this really cool application, you could do this, and you could tell the crowd wasn't into it.
I don't like that, and I'm like, well, maybe somebody could ask me. I'm like, somebody give me a question. You could ask me this, and everyone's like, no, I don't want to know anything about that.
Well, you also had a good guy, Greg, or whatever, that was which I didn't even understand why you used him on the meme, but the meme was basically hey, don't ask questions. I won't answer them. Or even
it was
so
just
I think
a meme for my questions page, just to say, hey, it's question time.
The meme said, I won't answer your questions.
Yeah,
so maybe I'm just saying, maybe that's why no one asks any questions. Maybe.
Perhaps.
But I think
it's a working theory.
That's
I
a
don't
working
know.
theory. We'll have to test it. But I think people probably appreciated your humor, and I think you covered the subject really well. So it was good. And then David did his presentation about music and how music is similar to writing code because I think this is about to open up a can of worms. But one thing he talked about was the principle of using the least power. I forget the name.
Yeah, and he had that quote about supposedly Albert Einstein said, the greatest scientists are also artists.
Yeah.
That was
really cool. Yeah, because it's I could see that. Okay, I want to create this function, or there's a creative side to science and engineering and anything. Well, and I think too
creative side of any type of innovation.
Yeah.
Outside of because art's a community.
And how I really liked how we talked about how it's the end user is a human, not a computer. I definitely think there is writing code for a robot where it's you're just writing commands and controls, but when you're designing something that humans are going to interact with on the other side, it's really similar in that regard to a creative, exploit like painting or, writing a screenplay or it's interesting.
Yeah, and he was talking about in a team setting where a bunch of people are, on some project where they're writing code. They're writing the code for each other because guess what? As soon as something breaks, another human has to fix that code.
Yeah.
But if it's all ones and zeros, nobody's going to understand it except for the computer or the robot in his example.
Right. That's
So
right.
it was a cool talk. He was saying that he thinks that because he understood music, that he codes differently than other people.
Yeah,
he challenged us to do an experiment or something.
That's what he was definitely doing.
out.
But even if
I'd say
that's
he
not
might be
true,
onto
he could be
something.
on something. But even if he's not, I think one of the coolest things to me was the law of using the least power, where he said in programming, you want to use whatever you're trying to achieve, use the most basic version of whatever tool or implement that there is to achieve that. And it's yeah, you could use a piano which has 88 or however many keys, but it's master that and become bring that ability of using those 88 keys to the fullest, and then maybe the next step you can branch out.
It kind of plays out the principle: the less resources you have, the less you have to use to get where you want to go. It really forces you to be creative. Once it forces you to really be creative, that's where innovation happens.
It does, yeah, because you're and he called it creativity by constraint or something like that.
Yeah.
That. Constraint. That's man, there's something to that.
Look at all the artists being rappers, them growing up in an environment where they really had nothing. It really forced them to not only hustle, of course, but be really creative and really fully analyze. Yeah, beatboxing and such like that.
Oh right, because they didn't have instruments.
They didn't have instruments. Yeah, apparently.
In here.
No, they do.
Well, yeah, you can just be on the street right there, boom, throw down a beat.
Think about the street performers that use buckets. But they sound amazing.
And it's novel, it's novel. It's a novelty.
It's like the group Stomp,
Yeah.
They
I saw Stomp last year. They came to my hometown. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Your hometown?
My hometown.
Jackson?
Panama City. that's my hometown. That's where I live. That's home. And it's a town.
Jackson.
Okay, I think I missed this in your presentation. What were you talking about on Urban Dictionary? Touty?
Yeah, cause
Rowdy? Okay, his presentation was about routes, which has to do with URLs and
yeah, it was
coding.
talking about how like a web application can know what content to show based on the URL bar.
So did
value
you-
in the URL bar, and that's called routing.
And did you
And
put
my talk was
touting?
about routing, and I didn't want it to just be called routing, so I put touting about routing because touting
Oh.
rhymes with routing.
But it
And
doesn't
touting
necessarily
is like when
mean-
I'm touting, like I'm like boasting, or
Oh,
I'm, you know, but
touting
I
is
was
a
like,
real word.
well, but I don't really want to tout, but maybe I'm feeling touty, so let me look it up, and sure enough. There was one Urban Dictionary entry for touty, Touty, which means this guy, which it wasn't a very like popular definition, but this guy claimed that if something's touty, then it's like whack, or like it's tight. Like, oh, that's touty. Like, oh man, like have you had that?
No one uses
You
that
know,
word.
Touty.
for that.
I like that though. I like
Is touty even like is that in like the normal dictionary?
or Urban Dictionary. So
No, it was Urban.
Just Urban Dictionary. So Merriam-Webster's dictionary one.
No,
maybe.
they're like.
They're
is
not. They
this a
don't.
PG
They're not touty.
You say whatever. You don't want to just be out
They're
there.
like we don't we don't like touty. We're not adding that to our dictionary.
So they're a little touty, I would say.
Yeah, they're
They're a little
touty.
up. They're a little uptown
A little
about it.
touty about trying to come across as wanting to say the word touty.
No,
Well, it rhymes
that's not what touty means. They'd be like,
It's like it's
in
pouty,
dictionary, how
pouty,
touty,
uptight.
like that's a touty ass dictionary. If it has touty.
Yeah. So you were touty about rowdy or routes.
I was rowdy
Touty.
about being touty.
But what was it called? Touting and routing?
Tootin' and rootin'. Rootin' and tootin'.
Rooting.
No,
That's
it was
because you could because it's like well you could use touty because that rhymes with route, but there's a different pronunciation of route.
I
It's
should
just
have
root.
done just something totally different.
Rudy, Tootie and Rudy.
No, it worked out because then it got to.
It was a pretty fruity Rudy.
Fruity Rudy. Yeah, you led to the baseline.
Root and Tootie breakfast.
It led to-
They have the
Grand
fruity,
Slam.
the Rudy fruity pancake.
Oh,
whatever it's called.
gotcha. Well, it led to you, nonetheless, discussing about why though.
Why though?
Yeah, let's
And
actually
that's
get
the
some.
underlying
You know,
purpose.
but why though? That's
And he did have the meme of like it was like an old painting
Yeah.
from like the 1600s of whatever, and it had why though. Is that like the
Why
official
though?
meme?
yeah,
for that?
that's the why though. There's that, and then there's the black girl who's like,
Yeah.
and she's like,
Why you not?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great, dude. So
Meme culture is very interesting, by the way.
it is.
Man.
Like, when did it all start? When did memes all
So
come
many
about?
options. You know, I
2013
saw a
maybe?
video about the
That,
beginning of memes, and I totally forgot.
2011, 2012, maybe?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
And now it's so easy to generate them.
Oh, yeah.
We could do a meme about this right now.
Yeah.
Someone probably is. Oh, I gotta move my car.
We're getting a live call in right now.
You're caller number one.
What's your question? Ask them the question. They have a question, I'm sure.
Why though?
Let's hear the
Yeah.
question.
Why though? What they want to know the why. What's our why? They want to know the why though.
The what?
There's nobody on.
Oh, jokes on you guys.
Haha! Joke's on you! Yeah.
You actually move your car?
Yeah.
Downtown
Well,
Orlando.
Should we,
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, we
which is
could go mobile, you know, if we needed to.
I mean,
Mobile's
how long are
interesting.
these podcasts? It's been 8 minutes.
Oh, I could go usually now.
So the woman that was facilitating this, she was over here driving a dish, and she like looked in here to see what we were doing, and she smiled. I think she liked it.
Yeah.
She liked
She
the
was like,
idea.
Damn, that's
She's
a
like, I'm gonna
sorry-ass
charge him for
podcast."
rent.
Hey, dude, it's a pleasure having you as a guest.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
back.
dude?
You'll be back.
Well, I'm gonna go out.
Are you Audi?
Are you any?
I'm.
Did you sign up or did you sign in? That's
Because right
really
now
that's
we're
the
in,
question.
but in order to sign up, you have to go next level up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right out there. I don't know how long these podcasts go.
Well, yeah, that's the question. Do we want
carry
to?
the conversation? Oh, we can keep it going.
podcast audience. I hope to see you next
He'll be
time.
back.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Yeah, we'll
do
still be
another
here.
podcast tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh, a Nerf cast. Did you bring your GoPro?
Yeah. I don't have the mount for
Yeah, we'll reposition this maybe so not.
Oh, even better. There we go.
Yeah, even better.
Still have-
So now this is the V-neck. podcast.
This is the V-neck podcast.
I think yours might be a little deeper, you know? Look at that. Oh, dude, look at those. What are those called anatomically?
The striation? I got some striation?
No, well, I'm talking about the bony features.
Oh, the bony feature.
The medial condyles of the
goodness, that's beyond
of the clavicle.
Wow.
Clavicular it's the junction between the sternum and the.
Wow, junction too. That is a good way to describe it.
Yeah, it's a junction.
Wow, you're describing this as like a roadmap.
Yep.
Of my body.
Yeah.
The junction. I was just called the Wycliffe.
The Wycliffe.
The Wycliffe. Isn't there like a rapper named Wycliffe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Man,
Yeah.
trying to go that route here in life.
This is a cool little setup for a podcast, man. It's so simple.
I think so. That's the beauty of doing a podcast on the phone. You can do it anywhere and everywhere.
It's great. Unless your phone runs out of storage. Do your listeners know that about your phone situation?
Yeah, I tell people
that has no storage on his phone.
I usually never do. I only have 12 gigabytes to work with. But again, hey, dude, going back to limited resources.
That's right.
Forces to be creative.
Man.
And a lot of this also keeps me accountable because I have to upload very fast. And
it's interesting.
Didn't get around to it this morning.
It's a different way of and
it goes back to
you gotta flow.
It all goes back to extreme ownership. Whatever happens, whatever your current situation is, you own it.
Own it.
So if you have limited resources to work with, you just still find a way to get it done.
And they called that thinking inside the box, which was interesting because everyone's like, think outside the box, which there's a place for that. But it's like, well, are you thinking inside the box?
Yeah.
It's really like different. It's really interesting.
Yeah, you want to always think outside the box. So most people live inside the box.
Well, that's what they're saying is like the law of limited constraint or whatever it's thinking outside the box, but it's also like your constraint. You know what I mean? It's like he was saying like he said something. We should like figure out what exactly he said about thinking inside the box because he was like presenting that as like. Right. Oh yeah, like you do need to think inside the box in some regards.
But a lot of times you want to be unconventional. You want to go outside the box because most people are already in the box.
In the box.
If most people are in the box, then how can you stand out? How can you bring new ideas to the table? How can you be creative? How can you dream big? How can you have visions that don't match other people's? And when you have visions that stick outside the box, man, that's where you get followers in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah, man. People want to follow like. Someone who's like confident in like some like well, it doesn't matter what it is, but
charismatic.
Yeah,
comes down to just really being able to communicate well your desire, your purpose, your vision. Because like in the back of my head, every time I was listening to a speaker today, I just always I would want to get up and just raise my hand and just ask him like, so why are you doing what you're doing? Like why this?
Yeah.
Why like is this the life you want to have kind of thing like, and knowing that like once you kind of have a sense of like the life you want to live. Your why, then it'll only enhance what you do. So like everything they talk about, that's their what or their how. But do they even themselves know their why?
Why? Man, it's like the layers.
Yeah, because like so your brain, there's the part of your brain like the limbic brain. That's like the part of your brain that you can't associate words to. Like that's what love is. Like you love somebody like your wife. You can't necessarily put into words why you love her. Like in certain instances.
Right.
And that's like your limbic brain just attaching why you love your wife, kind of thing. And that's what you need to have for how you do anything in life right now. Like one reason why I do podcasts is ultimately it's a why for me. I just like to connect with people, and through connection, it brings about personal growth, self-development, conversations I would have with people I would otherwise have in a forum or an arena or a platform where we talk about something where right now a lot of people are like they're connecting, right?
Yeah.
But they're not really. There's a lot of distractions going on, so they're not really able to have like a full-blown, meaningful conversation because of all these external stimulus that's going to take you away from flowing of ideas and such.
Yeah, and that's something I think that I've always admired about Alex doing this. The DailyXander is like, man, to do this and to do something, to do anything consistently, it takes a lot of like dedication and like, I think it's really cool. And especially if it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna do 10 push-ups every day or whatever. It's like, I'm gonna make it a point. Like here's the framework, the what and the how is to do these video titles, but the why is like this deeper, like really meaningful thing. And I think that's, and anyone who wants to, really not waste their one life, really not let their abilities, their talents, their passions go to waste.
Yeah,
not leave a legacy, not be proud of the life you lived. Like you have to have that why, and then the why has to be like almost of a certain like value. Like if it's like a selfish why, like is it a why? Yes.